This is Scott from Hexus, and you're watching Hexus TV. I'm talking to Nick Wirth, who designs sports cars. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
We're here at the launch of Shanghai, and I understand that in a technology sense you've got a certain unique way of going about it designing. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, I think that the traditional method of race car design, which is employed throughout the industry, throughout Formula One, from Ferrari, McLaren, all the way back to guys who build the smaller single-seaters, use a methodology which involves a lot of making of things. For example, the Formula One teams do a lot of wind tunnel testing.
Right.
Now they'll use for aerodynamics, so they'll use scale models, essentially half-scale models of the car, and they'll run those wind tunnels 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
And are they cheap to run, these wind tunnels?
They're incredibly expensive. They're about $25 million to build. And the big ones are about $1 a second to run.
$1 a second?
So $1 a second to run.
Okay, that can add up.
That can add up, yes. So we really focus on virtual engineering, and we replaced the wind tunnel testing with a CFD simulation, which is Computational Fluid Dynamics.
Okay.
Now this is basically a computer simulating the airflow over a car. In the old days, it was really used for pretty pictures or just kind of getting an idea. We've taken that technology to the level now where we've basically replaced wind tunnel testing.
And it really does. It's as good as.
It really is. And at the end of the day, we are judged by the race cars we build.
So if it wasn't as good as, you wouldn't use it.
Exactly. So we build sports cars for Honda, and they're raced under the Acura, which is their luxury brand in America. And at the end of the day, the proof's in the pudding. We've won against our major competitors, Porsche. We've won 6 races this year against their 5 with a virtually engineered and virtually designed car, and managed to develop.
And they don't virtually engineer and design their car?
They still wind tunnel test.
Right. And does anyone else do it your way?
A lot of people do CFD, which is what we do, but no one else does it exclusively.
I see.
And certainly not with the track-winning pedigree we've got. So
do you think it actually gives you a competitive advantage, as well as not having to shell out $25 million on a wind tunnel?
If you can get the sort of results that we get, which are comparable or better to wind tunnels, then it can. If you can't, which I think our competitors are struggling to get, then obviously you need to fall back on reliable, on traditional techniques. It's a bit like crossing a tightrope without a net. We've taken the net away, but the others keep having to have the net just in case they can slip off.
They just don't trust it. It's all a bit It's all a bit arcane as far as I can tell.
But it doesn't stop there. We actually, you've seen it in films. We actually use, in a real engineering sense, virtual reality. So we have fully immersive virtual reality systems whereby our engineers immerse themselves in a 3D environment like Star Trek, and that enables us to interact with a race car, with virtual race cars which don't actually exist, in one-to-one scale, and work on them before they're actually built, saving us time, money, etc., etc.
Okay, so I'm assuming, given the sort of enormous amount of computational power it must take to calculate all the variables for this sort of virtual, what do you call it? Fluid dynamics?
Computational fluid dynamics.
There we go. That's the one. Yeah. I'll get a hang of it.
Easy.
That's only been something that you've been able to do relatively recently as computers get more powerful. Is that the case?
Absolutely. I mean, Digital Flow Solutions, which is our CFD company, Computational Fluid Dynamics.
I knew that.
Exactly. We've only just we've exploded in terms of the number of processors. We've gone from one processor in 2004 to 16, and now we're at 500 in 2008. We're looking to go to 1,000, and it's only really when we've got that level of computing power that we've been able to go completely digital.
So presumably, companies that compete with you or exist in the same space, can you just remind me the name of your company again? Sorry.
Basically there's 2 companies. There's Wirth Research, which is the race car design and development company, and its sister company is Digital Flow Solutions, which is the CFD aerodynamic company.
So presumably other companies that exist in that space are going to eventually come around to doing things your way. Do you think that's inevitable?
I think it's inevitable, but by then we're looking at continually refining our processes. We're looking at branching out into different areas.
Advantage sort of thing.
Absolutely, and we're looking at things, particularly nowadays, looking at trying to transpose our technology into ways to make road cars more fuel efficient, particularly trucks more fuel efficient.
Right. So there's all sorts of applications.
Lots and lots of applications for this type of virtual engineering.
Okay, thank you very much, Nick. I've been talking to Nick Wirth, and you've been watching Scott on Hexus TV.